Hey everybody, I'm Atomic Giddy and welcome to my first top 10 list, the top 10 games to cheer you up. Let me just go over the premise for this list and we can begin. There are moments where all you need to do is be happy, but for whatever reason, you aren't happy. Being a glum bum is never fun, for you or others. So I use these games to help me get out of that rut and put a smile back on my face. Also, I'll throw up a warning of possible spoilers right now, just in case. One thing is that you will likely have a different list to me, so understand that our opinions may well differ. If you think a game is better suited to the list that I haven't added, let me know. Maybe your game can put a smile back on my face and cheer me up. Now before I truly start this, here are my honourable mentions. Charming and fun, super cute and cuddly, fun but deadly, and adorable. With that out of the way, let's begin! Chime isn't a puzzle game where you are simply placing down blocks to fill gaps and score points. As you place down blocks and create the sections within the game, you are changing the very music that will be playing. In fact, the music that you're hearing now was actually me when I was playing the game. For each of the tracks that you play and the multiple times that you play them, they're going to come out slightly differently from the time before, as you can try out different methods and placements each time. There are different tracks that are all enjoyable, some relaxing while some are pretty energetic. It's also a nice bonus that a percentage of the proceeds were going to charity, so I'm helping, okay? Seeing this title screen, you likely know exactly why this is on my list. Yoshi's Story is one seriously cheery game. The Yoshis are always happy here, even with the perils they go through. This guy is even happy. This boss is even super happy, and he's delicious. I don't think I can be grumpy when there's so much cheer in these little dinosaurs. And with these little critters, they come in different colours, so be ready to catch them all. Wait, no, get out of here! All in all, with some of the later and creepier levels, it still retains a lot of its charm, and I find myself coming back time and time again to this. In the world of Albion, you can do anything. It's going to be wonderful. Well, that's what Peter Molyneux once said. Though it may not be the case, I still have a great time in Fable II, and I'm able to create any sort of character that I want within the game's limitations. With the happy, idyllic towns and villages, jobs to perform, it's simply a calm place to be when you're not bashing bandits' heads in. And with such an enjoyable world to live in, who doesn't want to explore and venture out, seeking fortune and glory? But after all the adventuring, you can always come home to your loving family, who you really start to grow truly attached to. And that's one thing I enjoy about this game. These simple interactions can turn into real feelings for these little, totally not real people. Get out of my house, blacksmith. She's my wife. Fine. Keep her. I'll go to Bloodstone. Number 7 is a tie between Mario Golf Toadstool Tour and Kirby's Dream Course. I enjoy golfing in the real world, and there's something about it in video games too. With Kirby, there's fun power-ups galore to use as you progress through each course, having to mash your face into every enemy in the level to have the hole appear. You could compare Dream Course to Crazy Golf and Mario to regular golf. That said, Mario isn't free of crazy either. Although not as over the top, Mario and company have power shots resulting in some hefty distance. Most courses have throwbacks to older Mario games or have locales that fans of the series will surely recognise. Hitting the green is something I enjoy no matter the format. I'm putting Rayman Origins at my number 6. Origins has a much more fluid feel. Now that can obviously be explained to as it coming out much more recently. The level design really brings it back to the style of the first game, but having that extra benefit of its modern polish. My favourite section of the game is probably those chest chases. The music partnered with the thrill of making the perfect run makes these sections to be nothing but pure exhilaration. I've always enjoyed the Rayman series, and this installment was certainly a high note for me. Adding to this enjoyment was being able to play with up to 3 friends, although it would always end in tears when somebody would slap another into a bottomless pit. It's nice to have the option to race through it or see how many lumps you can collect on each of the levels, meaning that there is lots of replay value here. The game gets pretty challenging with the later levels, and I think Origins may have done the impossible. They created a water level that isn't going to make you want to tear your hair out. The atmosphere is relaxing and the music really emanates that, and I can stay in these levels for hours. Do you like explosions? Do you like meat? What about puzzles? If you said yes to all three, Splosion Man is the game for you. Amongst the explosions, cakes and beards, you'll find a charming game in Splosion Man. It can be played by yourself or with up to 3 other players in a separate co-op campaign. Something that is pretty cool is that they aren't the same set of puzzles, built for 1 or 2+ players. The music is action-packed as you blast your way through the puzzles and scientists. Throughout the years, Mario Kart is something that has always emanated fun to me. Okay, I will say it now, yes, sometimes it can get frustrating with red shell after green shell, then spinning out on a banana. But even with that happening, I'm still able to have fun and lots of laughs. Some of my favourite courses come from the Super Nintendo and GameCube version. Some tracks that you could see in a real setting, others not so much. It's helped that in later installments we are now able to play with even more people across the world, with friends that may not be able to come out and play Nintendo. Hell, I remember that Double Dash had a LAN capability but needed an extra component to fit in the bottom of the GameCube so you could play with more people. Multiplayer has always been a huge part of the game, whether it been in the races or the battle mode. There's plenty of fun to be had, and with its music pounding in my ears throughout all of the courses, simply amazing. Banjo Kazooie is one of those games that just cannot be beat. Well, technically it can, as it is at number 3. Anyway, it's a fantastic game, one that I have been playing for a very long time. The characters are all charming with their witty dialogues to keep you laughing throughout your adventure. In a similar vein to Super Mario 64, jumping from level to level via the hub world, each level is memorable and its music just as much so. It's one of those games that I can just breeze through now, though there were times when I was younger I'd have the hardest times with certain levels and jiggies. For example, rescuing Clanker. For me that was the scariest and most dreaded jiggy. Not just because of the giant metal shark, but the fear of dying, being underwater for so long, unable to catch Gloop's bubbles. Aside from that one jiggy, the rest of the game for me is one of my top favourite games ever. I have to say my favourite level is Click Clock Wood. Seeing how the level changes throughout the 4 seasons really brings home that sort of level of progression. Not to mention it looks fantastic. And with it bringing a number of characters, you see how this world all ties together. Not to mention how fun it is sticking it to Gruntilda in her game show or in the final showdown. But sometimes, I just let her win. For reasons. Animal Crossing for me is one of those games that just came out of nowhere, like whoosh! Not knowing what it was, I gave it a chance when I was at that game store, and boy was I over the moon. Having no real goal that you have to chase down means for a slow and steady feel to it. Don't want to pay off your loan today? That's okay, we can go fishing. Just want to go shopping today? That's alright by me. With every iteration bringing something new to the table each time, there's always something to find yourself coming back for. Playing with friends is a big draw in Wild World and City Folk, seeing how they furnish their homes, getting the inside scoop with the locals. I for one am really looking forward to New Leaf coming out later this year, and I cannot wait to be the best mayor there ever was. I can't mention Animal Crossing without talking about my favourite villager, Rolf the Tiger. First popping up in my GameCube town, Rolf has followed me to Wild World and City Folk, with our friendship enduring the ages. First appearances show him as kind of a grumpy character, but that all changes once you become friends and you talk to him every day. That of which I did do when I would play regularly. After doing the rounds of Nooks, the museum, Abel's, I would always go see Rolf. With mentioning New Leaf earlier, I expect to see him in my town once again, and the adventures can continue. Pokemon as a series is something I find myself coming back to. There's no particular generation that'll go solely on this list, not to say that I don't have favourites. As I've grown, so has my love for Pokemon. I understand it much more now, with its deeper mechanics that you don't really think are in a game about cutesy pets fighting. It's fun to go through the game, catch them all, even if that tagline was dropped a long time ago, and with good thing really. There's over 600 of them now. Playing through with your favourite Pokemon, playing through with Pokemon you wouldn't think to use, even creating a competitive team to play against people is really fun. All that said, I am looking forward to X and Y to see what new and crazy designs they come up with. For me, it all started with a Game Boy and Pokemon Yellow version, and over the years the collection has grown, my Pokédex fill up, and I continue to play and enjoy these games. I know I've mentioned music probably in every entry here, but Pokemon really has some of the best music in video games to me. A lot of the town themes and route themes are stuck in my head to this day. To be honest, I could be in any kind of mood and I'd be happy to play some Pokemon. And to this day, I still strive to be the very best. Hello again, I want to thank every single one of you for watching this. I hope you've enjoyed my top 10. This was my first attempt at something like this, so who knows if there will be more of the sort. If you in fact like it, please let me know so I know to do more of these. Anyway, I've been Atomic Eddie, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.